Well, welcome to the Steve Clifton podcast. This is Steve Clifton. This is your first time tuning in. This is my real look. Yeah, this is not. There's no makeup. Okay, so this podcast includes just me. There is no other. I'm the production guy. Make my scenery over here. Anyways, welcome to the Steve. Actually, you know what? This is actually the Undiagnosed podcast. I changed the name of my podcast last week and I can't even remember it. I got issues. But yeah, anyways, welcome to the Undiagnosed podcast. I am Steve Clifton. He is I is him. Clifford Comedy Productions. Like everybody can remember that. No one cares anybody but me. Anyways, welcome to the Undiagnosed podcast. This is your first time on my podcast. Why? How? You accidentally get over here? Were you looking up something else and ended up over here? Well, you're here now, so welcome. It's a podcast about absolutely nothing. Anyways, episode 17 of the Undiagnosed podcast. You can hit me up on the Gmail at steveclifton7808 at gmail.com. steveclifton7808 at gmail.com is the email address. You can hit me up on Twitter at SC_podcast21. I'm on the TikTok at Steve_Clifton, and then Facebook, YouTube. If you're like 97 years old, you could probably find me in the phone book. If you own a phone book still, anybody own a phone book? First off, if anybody owns a phone book and still read one, leave, run. Phone book. Who uses a phone book? Do they even make phone books anymore? I don't think they do. Had so much fun with phone books when I was a little kid, looking people's numbers up and prank call them. Anyways, that's for a different time. This is your first time on the show. This is like therapy to me. I should really seek therapist, but I'm poor and don't have any insurance yet. So I just talk to myself through all my issues and you guys listen. So you're my free therapy. So first segment we're going to get into here is called What's Good in Your Hood. Oh, I forgot to tell you the drink of choice because my phone is holding a drink. We got Paul Massoon apple and Coke. Yeah, I said it. People are going to be like, Paul Massoon, is that it? Isn't that like $10? I told you I'm the only employee here and I don't even get paid. So anyways, I'm a young entrepreneur. This is my entrepreneurship here, and I'm wearing a Mario shirt. So what makes you think that that happens? I don't know. Why do I talk to myself? So what's good in your hood? So what happened to you? What did you have a good week? What did you do? Did you do something fun or did you do absolutely nothing, boring stuff like me as an adult now? I paid my taxes, okay? I did my taxes. Can't wait to get my check. When you're like middle class or lower middle class like I am, I don't know why I said that out loud, but who cares? And who cares? You wait on that income tax check, man. It's my favorite time of the year is income tax check. Forget a holiday or a birthday. Well, Christmas is the best day for obvious reasons. It's Christmas. The day Jesus was born. But after that, income tax day is my favorite holiday. It's not a holiday, but I'm making it a holiday, dude. Because like all year you just wait for that money. Right? You just be waiting for that money. Sometimes dude, if you're like me in my house, we spend it before we get it. Well, oh man, we get income every year about December, January, it starts up. Oh man, we get income tax, man. I'm gonna get me that new tire. Man, when we get an income tax check, I want to buy me like 3 new shirts. Man, when that income tax check hits, man, we're gonna go, Red Lobster, some Cheddar Bay biscuits. You be spending that income tax check before you get it, man. I love income tax check season, dude. So every year I can't wait to do my taxes. But this year, because of the, and I know everybody's tired of hearing this COVID and blah 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 blah, blah, job issues I had to wait on a whole bunch of paperwork to do my taxes. I did my taxes, and it was hard. I got that. I do it on that. What do I do it on? Tax Slayer. They're not a sponsor, but if they want to sponsor me, join Tax Slayer at taxslayer.com. I don't know. They can see me. What are they gonna do? If they see me, that means people are listening. So, yeah, I had TurboTax before too. Yeah, it's free. I know they do a free one. Yeah, so I should probably do it on there. But I've always done it on Tax Slayer, and they got all my info on there, so I don't want to retype it again because I'm lazy. So, but I do my father-in-law's taxes on TurboTax. It's free. I should open my own little tax service over here. No, I don't even like doing the two I do. Taxes are, a pain. Finally did it. So whenever I get that, I'm ready to go to Red Lobster and get some Cheddar Bay. What else happened this week? My daughter had an all-district choir concert. Yeah, no one cares about your kids, dude. Move on. Anyways, I'm just kidding. My daughter had an all-district choir concert. It was awesome. I'm a music guy. I'm a music nerd. So if you guys know me, or if you listen to the show, I love music. Music is a sport. What if music was a sport? Anyways, they had it was an all district choir. She made it to all district choir. So whenever you go to the choir concert for like your sixth grader at the regular school, where it's just like everybody who signed up for it, it's kind of like, questionable. No, you're motivated because you're a parent. You're like, oh, y'all did good, yeah, but you're like, no, what was that in tune? That's the normal one. This one was the all district. So this one, my daughter tried out for the all district choir and she made it, which I knew she could. She'd been singing in tunes and she was like 3 or 4. Like when you're 0 or 1, obviously you don't even know words. When you get about 2 or 3, you start hearing songs in the car or you start singing with it. She's always in tune. I remember telling my wife, like, whoa, she's in tune. I mean, of course, she didn't have any texture to her voice because it sounded like, Alvin and the Chipmunks or Michael Jackson. But she always was singing tune, dude. So I knew whenever she's going to join a choir, she would dominate. So she's in the all-district choir. I went to that concert. It was awesome. Free concert, by the way. Free concerts are the best in my budget. And it was all-district boys, all-district girls, all-district boys slated. I didn't record them because, I didn't, they don't live here. They did good though, and then the girls did good. My favorite song they sang was "Blackbird" by the Beatles. Yeah, it was really good, man. A district choir would be different. They sang Aladdin. Man, they sang Aladdin, "Friend Like Me," and man, it just opened the floodgates of your memories if you're a 80s, 90s kid. And whenever Aladdin came out, and Aladdin was awesome, man. Does anybody remember when Aladdin came out? Dude, "Friend Like Me," "Whole New World," Arabian Nights. Come on, man. Aladdin was good. But yeah, it was good. So if you didn't listen last week to the show, I ranked the top 5 hamburger helpers. Because I'm a kid from the 80s and we grew up eating poor stuff like that. So number 1, my top 5 hamburger helpers, number 1 was beef stroganoff. And if your top hamburger helper of all time is not beef stroganoff, then I'm hanging up on you. Come on, that's the best one, right? Anyway, so last week we did the top 5. That was number 1. So I went to the store and bought it, see if it still holds. Like when you watch an old movie, does that old movie still hold up? So I went and bought some beef stroganoff hamburger helper. It worked for $1. Got some, some meat. Went with turkey meat. A little bit leaner, and it's cheaper. Hamburger meat, you talking about gas prices. Y'all talking about the gas prices. Try to go buy a hamburger meat at the store right now. It's like $30 for a pass. I don't why's cows and gas connected. I don't know. Anyways, so I got the beef stroganoff hamburger helper because it was just me and my wife. No, it wasn't a date night. It was me and my daughter, and my wife won't eat that crap. So I got it and I made it. And if you're old school like me and you remember making hamburger helper, it used to have like a little cream packet at the end, which was always the best part. Mom, let me do that. Let me put that in there. It didn't have a cream packet. I was disappointed, man. You know, I was disappointed. It's like whenever you like go to IKEA and they're like missing a bolt or something, you're like, man, they didn't put a bolt in here. You know, it's the same thing. It's like they didn't put the cream packet in here, and then it turns out there's not a cream packet in there. You just add milk. Not creamy enough. I put some sour cream in there. So, and I will tell you guys, it does hold up. It's still the best hamburger helper of all time. Beef stroganoff. Cost you like $5 to make. Right. So we tried that. What else is on? What else do I have on my notes here for this segment? Gas prices. I'm so tired of hearing about that, right? It's kind of like one of them things now. I hadn't done stand-up in a while, but I guarantee you there's a lot of stand-up comedians at open mics writing gas price jokes. The gas is so high. I'm telling you, there's a lot of gas price jokes going on in comedy clubs right now. I guarantee you. I haven't been in a while. I need to, but that's for a different subject. But yeah, I mean, to me, I never really cared about the gas prices, obviously, because it's. But to me, is whenever it like starts affecting like other like things, is whenever and it's affecting other things now. When it's like $2, nothing. When it's like $2.50, you're like, when it gets to $3, you're like, oh. But when it gets to $4, it starts making it like 2 days before payday, and you're like, man, I have enough money to like eat or drive to work. For some Americans, including me. No, I'll take donation. No, I'm just kidding. No, but you know what I mean? It's like that's when it's a problem. So, but here's the thing, just like last time, what are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? What are you gonna do? You're gonna go like get your friends together and go get some of your own gas and open your own gas station. So it's just like I'm tired of hearing about gas talk. Yeah, it sucks. Whatever you think about the whole, president thing. I don't get into politics. So anyways, moving on to the next segment, like a weatherman here. This next segment's called What's on Your Mind? What's on your mind, guys? This is like random thoughts. If you're a night owl, which most comedians are, I guess if you could call me that. But yeah, if you're a night owl like me, you sit here at nighttime. Nighttime is the best time, man. That's whenever you get home. Everybody goes to bed, and then you're just like left alone, sitting there in your thoughts, man. It's like Cheech and Chong. You get just random things. It's kind of what goes on in my head. I want to know who works for the cheese companies of the world. I won't call them out, and creates this bag. When you go to the store and you get this, bag of cheese, when you get a bag of cheese of any kind, shredded mozzarella, whatever you get the bag of cheese, and it says tear here. Is anybody ever torn that off the first time and got it correctly? Because if you are, once again, hang up. I'm hanging up on you. Who invented that? It never tears correctly. Ever. I've never got a bag of cheese from the store and torn the thing correctly the first time and got in there. It always messes up. Is this just me? Do I got like oversized thumbs or something? Or, I know I'm in a rush and I'm in a hurry all the time on everything I do, or I don't know. It seems like they need the guy who works for the cheese companies need to hire the Ziploc company. They figured it out. But your little slide here, cut here thing never works on any of those. Not just the cheese company, all the other ones where it says tear here or cut here. It never works. If you can do that on the first try, I want to see it. We'll do the podcast from your house. Anyways, I don't know why I thought about that. Number 2, let's see here. I got I'm still get to know everyone guy, and I'm trying to chill that out a little bit. I'm still get to know everyone guy. I'm that guy that whenever you're at the grocery store and you walk by me, I'm like, how's it going? How are you? Good morning. How you doing? Morning, ma'am. How you doing, sir? I like talk to everybody. You know what that's from? That's from working in retail forever. My first job at Brookshire's, you have to talk to everybody. Hello, how are you doing? How's it going? How you doing? Hello, how are you doing? I worked at Kroger back in the 90s. You got to talk to everybody. How are you doing? Good morning. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? I worked at Walmart for 13 years. Same thing. Good morning. So when I'm off the clock or when I'm like anywhere else, it's just kind of like in my DNA. So I'm Mr. Everything, Mr. Get to know everyone guy. And it's awkward and weird now. So I've been like dialing it back, because most people be like this in their earpieces, like, huh? Oh, a nice Cowboys shirt. Go Cowboys. Who? Sorry, I'm on the phone. So it's like you got to quit. I got to try to dial it back a little bit. Also, everybody gets offended too easily about, certain things. So it's like, just don't talk to anybody anymore, and they won't talk to you. I guess the world we live in. Kind of sad. Everybody's always got two things in their ears, and they're always like, on their phone. And I'm not saying that I'm not guilty of being on my phone. I'm just saying, like, it's okay to like talk to other people and be like, hey, how are you doing? How's it going? Anyways, that's been on my mind. Let's see what else. Especially whenever I see a guy with like a shirt I like. Especially when I see a guy with like a shirt I like. Oh man, that shirt's dope. Where'd you get that shirt? They never know. Most rich people don't, because they got 97 shirts. I got like 7 shirts. I know where all of them came from. Where I got them, what events I've wore to them, what I've spilt on them. Crazy. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. I'm also the same guy that like went on Facebook Messenger with your friends. You'll send them a note or a funny thing. They'll look at it and not respond. And then 3 days later, I'll send you something else and you won't respond. And then 3 days later, you'll send me something else and you won't respond. I'm that guy too. Especially if you're my friend. If I don't know you, that's awkward. But if you're like my friend, like I've known you 30 years or something, I'll do that. Breaking the laws on. So I don't know. Anyways, so back to regroup, we're on the What's on Your Mind segment here on the Undiagnosed podcast. I am Steve Clifton, formerly AKA Steve Clifford from Clifford Comedy. I changed that whenever I was doing stand-up because, like, when my name's Clifton and nobody ever gets it right, they always call me Clinton or Bill Clinton, or so I changed. So everybody called me Clifford back in high school, some of them. So I went to open mic one time and somebody said that on stage because they couldn't read, and I was like, it actually sounds kind of better, but I go back and forth. I got a double personality anyway, so all right. What's on your mind? Random thoughts. I was watching TNT last night, and they were. I hate whenever these sports announcers say, "Well, the home team got to sleep in their own bed." Really? So you're telling me in the year 2022, when the away team goes to the hotel, they staying in a nice hotel? They ain't staying in no Motel 6 with a crooked old bed and a rotary dial phone and a microwave. They staying in a luxurious hotel. What do you mean sleep in their own bed? I bet you some of those NBA players' beds are on the road are better than the ones they live in. I hate that's an old phrase. Quit saying that. Well, they're sleeping in their own bed, staying in their whole house. They make $43 million a year. So when they're on the road, they ain't staying at the same Motel 8 I am. So, all right, moving along. What's on your mind? I got 2 more notes here. My number 6. It's really still weird to me to have a car inside my house. Is that just me? I grew up in apartments my whole life. My whole life. From 0 to like 18, 20, 20, 30. Until I moved here like with my wife like 10 years ago. It was always, in the parking spaces. You're find one or hope no one steal yours or parking yours. It's just a horrible parking situation. I lived here 10 years and I've been parking my car in the garage for 10 years and it's still amazing to me. Is that weird? Sometimes I'll just get up and just go look to make sure it's still there because my ghetto tendencies kick back in, but it's not going anywhere. I saw OCD about lights. And I'm also Mr. Paranoid guy that my back car's not going to start. So I checked to make sure I didn't leave any lights on. It's amazing when it's right there. Back in the day, you had to walk all the way downstairs, all the way to your car to check nothing for your anxiety. I don't know. All right. One more thing here on my list, and we'll get to the final segment here of what's on your mind is maybe does anybody go to like the drive-thru? And you order, right? And then you pull up to they say pull up to, first off, now they got double windows on you. Before it was just one. Now you're trying to confuse me with two numbers. Okay. I'm on this 12th grade graduation. Education. It's hard for me to count to 5. I got to count 2 numbers now. Anyways, pull to this window. I always forget the wrong one. I'm always the weird, awkward guy at the window where they don't have nobody there. Anyways, it's really weird when you pull up to the window and they're like, oh, okay, cool. Can you pull up? And you're like, I'm like the only one here. There's nobody behind me. Why? I'll just sit here and then you can just hand it to me through the window rather than walking it up 19 steps for no reason. There's nobody in line behind me, lady, is what you want to say. But I have kids and a mortgage now, and I'm not trying to get in trouble, so I don't say that anymore. All right, so we're going to move on to this very last segment of the podcast. Is it's your first time listening? We always end with a bang, a positive. This is it's great to be alive. It is. It's a blessing that you woke up today. I think a lot of times we take that for granted. And if you thought about that more often, you'd be a lot more happy. No, I'm not here to preach to you or coach you. But anyways, top 5 alive at 5. Where we celebrate 5 things about being alive. All right, guys, this is a top 5 list, okay? And I wanted to put a funny name on it, so it was catchy, okay? I'm also the producer, the executive producer. Ooh, Peasy, ooh. Jay Pizzy won't answer his phone. I try to get him on here. Anyways, this is the top 5. This is something me and him talked about, and I'm thinking about branching out here and like maybe start doing interviews. So while you guys are just not looking at my face the whole time, Plus, it gives me somebody to talk to. So I'm working on like maybe start interviewing people, either in live person or on Zoom. Could be friends or whoever. I don't know. Someone to talk to. And this is the thing. This is the introduction of Alive at 5. Top 5 cars you've owned. What's the top 5 cars you've owned? Not like you've owned. I think all of us have stories about our favorite cars. If you're listening right now, you just thought of 2 or 3 of them right now on top of your head. Oh, remember that Maverick that I had that we drove, So I think cars, even if you're not a gearhead like me, I'm not a gearhead. Peasy's a gearhead. He's a mechanic. So he'll have all kinds of stories. He can tell you the 360 over the ball alt 20, and I'm just going to tell you what color they are. So, the reason why I'm doing mine first is I'm going to do mine on here, and then every time I interview anybody, then that's going to be the topic for a little while, anyways. And Justin Perkins, Peasy is going to be the first guest. That you heard it here first. All 2 of you listening. So top 5 cars. This is hard. I finally figured out last night. Me and my wife are talking about it. Side note there, my wife, 39 years old. You're not supposed to tell a lady's age. Who cares? right? They tell guys his age. It's fine to tell our age. Y'all want equal? No, I'm just kidding. She don't care. She don't listen to this anyway. Thank God. Because your wife can be your best friend, also your biggest critic. Anyways, top 5 cars here. She had 3. She's owned 3 cars. 3 cars for us, 21, bro. You know, must be nice to have good credit and cosigners. Anyways, top 5 cars. My number 5 car, I had a 1986 Cutlass Oldsmobile. And I had it like in probably 2005. It was old. I paid $1,000 cash for this car. $1,000 cash for this car I paid. And the reason why it's just one of my favorites is because it was like, not to get too mushy, it's right after a divorce, and it was the first thing I bought that was like just mine, and I paid $1,000 cash with it just to get it up, just to get to point A to point B. And it was my favorite car, but at the same time, it had issues, right? Sometimes the left door wouldn't shut. You literally have to hold the door and drive down the street. But it was mine, baby. It was mine, not hers. No, it just, I don't know. It's just one of them kind of things, like starting over. So it's kind of one of them things. So, and that's why I think this list is creative, because it's going to be, it doesn't have to be the best cars. It's your favorites. So, leather seats. It was the first car. It's the first car that I ever had that had like electric, like seat where you could push the button, just slide back, push a button, slide up. I used to sit there and just do it over and over. I felt like I was luxurious for that $1,000, bro. Gray. Sucked gas though, but that was when the gas was like $1.89. You remember that? Anyways, number 4. I'm actually gonna there's a 1995 Suzuki Esteem. The 1995 Suzuki Esteem. It's actually the first car that I ever owned that I got like from an actual like dealership with like an actual contract, and check to see if you had a real job. One of those kind of things, one of those jobs. And it was one of those, and it was the first one where I, it was just, that felt magic. I felt like a grown man, like, wow, this is mine. No, I mean, I did it by myself. Little did I know they got me on the whole interest rate, because I didn't know nothing about that, and I went by myself. It was not in my pay range, but I love that car. It was a little bit short, short, small car, and I had a buddy of mine, Derek, that was my roommate, talked me into putting a glass pack on a Suzuki Esteem. Just and you roll up on on the main strip there, where whatever town you live in, every town has a main strip where you race, or you go down there to talk to girls, or you chase that street, and you pull up next to a Mustang with a glass pack. And they were like, "What? Really, this guy?" And they would smoke me. So funny. Top 5 cars you've owned. Number 3. Oh man, I had a 2000 Nissan Frontier pickup truck. It's funny, Philip Law is watching. Me and Philip, a buddy of mine named Philip I went to high school with, and another friend of mine, Jason, we went to the fair, and they had a truck show in there, and everybody was just gobbling over this. Back then, it was 1999 when this was. It was a 2000 Chevy. I can't remember. It was an awesome looking blue car, and everybody was like all over that, looking at that. It was like the car of the it won the best truck of the whatever they do there at the fair. Overall best performance or whatever, Chevy something. I can't remember what it is. I should have done some more research. It was in 1999, and everybody was just gobbling over it. And I'm like, the Nissan Frontier looks way better than that truck that's gonna fall apart. And I went and bought one. And once again, by myself, with my 12th grade education, and they got me again for interest on a way higher payment than I couldn't even afford. But I love this truck. It was brand new. This is number 3 because it's the first one I ever owned. It was brand new. I'm talking about when I turned the key on it, it had 0 miles. They just rolled them off the truck the day before. Well, it had 1.2 miles on them rolling off the truck. Black, solid black. Brand new radio, brand new everything, dude. And I love that car. I didn't love the payment though. Truck, loved it. And then that was the first truck I ever owned in my life. And then I did realize that when you own a truck, you have way more friends that want to move stuff. And I'm like, yeah, this is horrible. Clean though. All right, top 5 cars. Number 2 on my top 5 car list is I had a 1980 Ford Fairmount. 1980 Ford Fairmount. Google that. I got this car because my grandmother, rest in peace, passed away and gave it to my dad. And I was living with him at the time, and it's like, drive it so I don't have to take you everywhere. No, just you can have it, So it's probably really in his name now that I think about it. I don't know. It's my first car, and dude, it's your first love. It's your first car, dude. It was brown-ish. No radio. Radio didn't work. The radio didn't work. The radio didn't work. It's a 1980 Ford Fairmount. Radio didn't work. You take tapes. You could put a tape in there. It took tapes. We wore out some Batman soundtrack, "Kiss from a Rose" on that car. My first car. You could start it with no key. You didn't even have to have a key. He didn't have to have a key to this car, so my friends would in the middle of school would go over there and find my car, because you also didn't have to have the key to get in it, because the window rolled down by your hand. You could literally stick your hand on the window and press it down, and they would press it down and get in and start the car with no key and move it to the back of the football field, and I would be looking for my car for hours. They nicknamed it the loogie because somebody spit on my car, just being the kids, and I tried to wash it off and it never went away. It's probably still on there. Yeah, dude. The car died at the school. Actually, it was one of them kind of cars. It's a 1980, and this is like 1997, 99 when I had it. It was 20 years old, and those old cars, you got to start them and warm them up, and then drive them. And I was late to school one day, and I just started it and took off, and it died in the school parking lot. They had to come tow it off. It was sad. All right. So once again, we're doing my top 5 cars that I've ever owned list. Number 5, 86 Cutlass Oldsmobile. Number 4, I had a 95 Suzuki Esteem. 93 2000 Saturn. Oh wait, no. Number 3 was a 2000 Nissan Frontier. I changed it on the fly here. Number 2 was 84 Fairmount. Before we get to my favorite car that I've ever owned, I want to talk a little bit about the worst car I've ever owned. The worst car I've ever owned is the one I have now. It's a 2012 Ford Fiesta. I got it in 4 years ago. It was only 4 years old, and when I bought it, it was a lemon. from a little toter note place, one of those places where they go in like, hey, do you have a pulse? Yeah. Do you have $99? Yeah. Do you have a job? Yeah. Do you have your boss's phone number I can call and or somebody will say you have a boss or a job? Yeah. One of those places. And radio broke, cost me $800 like 2 months after it. Fans, it's just been I still own it because there's no payments and I'm just waiting for it to, hopefully it never does, but it's just the worst car I've ever owned. Anyways, top 5 cars. Number 1, on my top 5 car list of all time, my favorite car that I've ever owned is going to be a 2006 Dodge Caravan. Yes, I had a minivan. Okay. I had a minivan. I'm not afraid to admit I had a minivan, dude. So the story behind this is I had a car and my wife was pregnant at the time, 13 years ago. And I was just trying to do what the right thing to do was just to get a vehicle for the baby put in because she drives a truck. Yeah, I got a woman that drives a truck. She drives a truck and it's hard to get the baby in and out. So when we went somewhere, we know we'd have something. And I figured start driving the truck and she would drive the minivan. So I surprised her and got this minivan. And the first thing she said was, I ain't driving that, fool. Do I look like I have a soccer mom? No. And I ain't driving a minivan. No, she drove it when she drove it, but she didn't want to like drive it as her main one. So I drove it and I loved it. This is my favorite car I ever owned. It was good on gas. It had an awesome stereo system. It bassed. Like maybe somebody who had it before upgraded the stereo. It bassed. I was always bassing. Like it bassed enough where like people were like, hey, did you drive by my house last night? How'd you know I could hear you? Bassed. Like it bassed. Someone's texting me. No, rode the Ranger game with that thing 100 times because it's a minivan. I can get like 7, 8, 9 guys. I can get like 14 guys in that thing, dude. Seat belts or not seat belts. And a good thing about that is, back then, you're young, you're having some drinks, you're going to the Ranger game. No one's ever going to think you're suspicious in a minivan at 1 a.m. What's that guy doing over there? We always had a designated driver, but still you had like 13 other guys in there that were messed up and nobody ever would question a minivan. Always had a designated driver. You always got to. If you don't have a designated driver, then I'm not going. So, but anyways, I was always a designated driver because I had the minivan. And I love that thing, dude. So good. Even whenever I got Grand Theft Auto, I was playing the video game Grand Theft Auto. I made my own little minivan on there. I love that van, man. It had so much space. When you got groceries, there's plenty of room. If you had to like take the kids to go something or on a vacation, there's plenty of room. If somebody wants to sleep in the back while you're driving, like you take it to like Shreveport, it's in plenty of room. I love that minivan. I wish I still had it. I'm not hating on minivan people. For real though. It's just it looks kind of weird when I would drive around to school though by myself. But that's just because look at me. Anyways, that's the podcast this week, guys. Thanks for tuning in to the Undiagnosed podcast. It says Roland Tello is watching. Which Roland Tello is that? Is that Roland Tello Christopher III, or is that the original Roland Tello? Yeah, Roland. When we used to, dude, the minivan was the best car I ever had. We take it to the Ranger game, because you could go and pick up. We'd meet one place in a parking lot, and we would just all pile in the dang minivan because there's like 10 of us. One parking, split it. You can put your grill in there. Dude, the minivan was awesome. We've taken it everywhere. You know, it was like anytime there was an event, like is Clifford going? Well, minivan. You know, we took it everywhere, dude. It was missed it. It just started falling apart though. Like it's one of them kind of things where you're like, should I keep this or should I turn it in and let it be their problem? It was one of those kind of cars, and I was like, yeah, it's kind of time to turn it in. So I turned it in. It was a sad day, dude. I'm not gonna lie. The stereo system alone was a sad day. Like, oh man, the minivan. Good times in that minivan, dude. Memories. You know, miles. I drove it to Nebraska and back. Never had any issues with it, dude. I think I might have had the minivan like 4 or 5 years, 6 years, and never any issues until the end. So Roland Tello is watching. I could do a whole podcast just on Roland. I need to have Roland on the podcast. The only thing though is if I have Roland on the podcast, he's definitely gonna dominate. This dude knows people in like everywhere in Mesquite, Florida, anywhere you go. He's like, oh, Roland, like, dude, we're like in Mississippi. How do you know Roland? Everybody knows that guy. So if he gets on here, he's gonna dominate. Taking to place like, oh, is that, how do you know that guy? He knows everybody. How? It's crazy. Everybody have a friend like that like knows everybody? That's Roland. Or like if you haven't talked to a friend in a while and they're like, hey, how's it going? Oh, we're good. You're waiting for it. Or they're gonna ask, so how's Roland? Hey, you see him on Facebook with his menu online. He doing fine. He doing just fine. Except when the Cowboys lose and then he's crying. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching the Steve Clifford podcast, or what is it now? The Undiagnosed podcast. And you guys have a good week. Eat some food, drink some drinks, watch some sports, do some fun stuff. And if you do all that, and it's like 2:00 in the morning, and you need some help, and you decide you're going to call me, you're calling the wrong person. I'm probably not going to answer. And if I do, I'm going to be like, walk. No, I'm just kidding. The phone's always open if you know me. That's an old inside joke for those who don't know. And you guys have a good week. Don't do anything stupid. And if you do, don't call me.